So picture this. It's 1977, and a document from a nuclear engineer gets submitted to the U.S. Defense Documentation Center. And this isn't just any paper. It puts forth a theory so big, so audacious, that it claims to solve literally everything. We're talking about human conflict, the entire UFO mystery, and even the final destiny of our species. Yeah, it's a big one. Let's get into it. Right out of the gate, the paper grounds itself in a very specific moment in time. The author, Thomas E. Bearden, he points directly to the new president, Jimmy Carter. Now, Carter wasn't just a politician, he was an engineer. And maybe more importantly, he'd gone on record about his own UFO sighting. You can almost feel Bearden's point here. Hey, the guy in the Oval Office has seen one of these things. This isn't a fringe topic anymore. The conversation is about to get very, very real. So what's actually in this paper? Well, it's right there in the title. It lays out a single grand theory of everything, and it's basically a three-act play. First, it identifies what Bearden calls the one fundamental fatal flaw of our species. Second, it proposes a technological solution that is, well, it's pretty wild. And third, it ties it all together with the UFO phenomenon. Okay, so what is this one human problem? According to Bearden, it's a deep evolutionary flaw. It's like a catastrophic bug in our source code that comes from the very thing that makes us the kings of the planet, our intelligence. Bearden paints this really clear picture. You look at most animals, he says, and they're programmed. Their behavior, especially how they fight each other, is hardwired by genetics. You see two rams butting heads, it's a ritual, it's stylized, and usually the loser just gets to walk away. But us, humans, we're deprogrammed. Our big brains give us this amazing ability to adapt, but it also means there are no built-in rules for our conflicts. And when you combine that with our knack for tool-making, our internal squabbles become incredibly, devastatingly lethal. And this is where it gets really, really dangerous. Because our intelligence, it creates this vicious feedback loop. We build powerful tools, then we immediately turn those tools on each other in competition. That competition then forces us to invent even more powerful tools, and to do it faster and faster. The result? A totally unstable exponential curve that is pointing straight towards self-destruction. We've basically outsmarted our own survival instincts. The speed of our technological growth has just completely lapped natural evolution. Any genetic fix that might hardwire some limits into us, that would take millions of years. But our power to wipe ourselves out, that's growing year by year. From Bearden's perspective, we're stuck. We've hit an evolutionary dead end.
But okay, the paper doesn't just leave us there doomed. It actually proposes a solution. And since nature is way too slow to save us, the solution has to be technological. And folks, it is straight out of the deepest corners of science fiction.
The solution has a name, linkage, and it is exactly what it sounds like. The literal technological networking of every single human brain on Earth into one unified superconsciousness, a single mind for the whole planet. Now, to help you wrap your head around that, Bearden uses this brilliant analogy that's already inside every one of us. Just think about your own brain. You've got two separate hemispheres, right? A left and a right. But you don't experience two minds. You experience one single, seamless consciousness. Why? Because there's a biological superhighway of nerve fibers, the corpus callosum, linking them together. Bearden's argument is that we just need to build a technological corpus callosum for the entire human race. The philosophical shift here is just massive. With linkage, that core separation between me and you, the very root of all competition, all greed, all violence, it just gets erased. I mean, if hurting you is literally the same as hurting myself, the entire concept of conflict becomes impossible. And Bearden was dead serious that this wasn't just a fantasy. He was writing in 1977, remember, and he points to actual Soviet research at the time, into things they called psychotronics and biological radio communication. He's talking about super high-frequency brain signals, the search for a biological code. He really seemed to believe the tech for this, maybe some kind of brain-scanning skullcap, was just around the corner. But here's the thing. Just stopping us from destroying ourselves, that's just the start. According to this paper, achieving linkage would be the catalyst that triggers the next great leap in the evolution of all life on this planet. So Bearden lays out this epic evolutionary timeline. He puts us, humanity, right here at stage 5, complex, multicelled organisms. But the next jump, the jump to stage 6, He says it isn't biological. It has to be technological. It's the linkage of an entire species' consciousness. And he thinks this is the great filter, that one critical hurdle that any intelligent species anywhere in the universe has to overcome. The moment linkage happens, the paper claims the payoff is immediate and total. All of our social ills, war, crime, poverty, you name it, they were just cease to exist. But it gets even crazier. Bearden suggests that individual personalities could be holographically recorded and preserved, which would basically grant a form of immortality to each human cell, or man cell as he actually calls it, within this new superbeing. But look, if you thought creating a perfect utopia was the endgame, buckle up. Because the paper argues that linking all our minds together would fundamentally change our relationship with reality itself through something he calls the hyper-channel effect. Bearden's whole theory kind of hinges on this idea of psychokinesis, mind over matter. He proposes that it's a real but incredibly weak force that every one of us has. But, he says, when you link brains together, that power doesn't just add up, it amplifies exponentially with every single mind that joins the network. So, take that exponential growth and now apply it to billions of human minds, all connected, all coherent. The psychokinetic power would become, for all intents and purposes, infinite. This new superbeing would completely shatter the laws of 3D space and linear time. It would become a multidimensional entity with abilities we could only describe as godlike. And this, right here, is where the whole thing comes together. This entire framework, our self-destructive flaw, our potential to become a god, it all provides a completely new and startling way to look at the UFO phenomenon. This theory offers a really unique and, frankly, kind of chilling answer to the Fermi paradox. You know the question. If the universe is teeming with life, why is it so quiet? Where is everybody? Well, according to Bearden, the reason it's so quiet is because a species like us only exists in this dimension for a cosmic blink of an eye. There are only two possible outcomes. Option A, we fail to link up, our feedback loop runs its course, and we wipe ourselves out. We vanish. Or option B, we succeed, we link our minds, become a stage 6 superbeing, and transcend this dimension entirely. We vanish. Either way, from the perspective of other planets, we're gone. And that leads to the paper's absolutely mind-bending final hypothesis. UFOs are not aliens and nuts and bolts spaceships. There are manifestations of an existing stage 6 superbeing, some other species that already made the jump. And they're here, Bearden claims, to act as cosmic midwives, providing a kind of prenatal care to humanity, subtly guiding our collective mind as we approach our own birth into a linked consciousness. The paper ends with this powerful question from a famous story, leaving us with the ultimate choice. We are at the door. Behind one is transcendence, the lady. Behind the other is self-destruction, the tiger. And we have to choose. He wrote this back in 1977, and he suggested that the next few decades would be the deciding moment. Well, here we are. Looking around at the world today, which door do you think we're reaching for?